listening to the National Media Archive, and to learn more or volunteer, go to nationalmediaarchive.com. Has ever heard of Red Golf? If not, you're not alone. But trust me, this Chinese hacking group has been making waves behind the scenes, targeting industries and governments worldwide. Now, what exactly is a hacking group? Think of them as digital burglars, but with political agendas instead of loot bags. Red Golf's activities stretch far and wide, but what makes them so notorious? Let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on. You might wonder why Red Golf. The way codename culture is huge in cybersecurity, letting analysts track groups without revealing real identities. It's like calling a chess grandmaster knight e7, cryptic but purposeful. So what sets them apart? Well, their reach. Aviation, automotive, government, education, you name it, they've probably probed it. Imagine a spider web spanning continents, each strand a potential digital trap. But let me tell you a story. In a recent investigation, Red Golf's fingerprints were found on networks from media outlets to religious organizations. The diversity of targets is staggering. Ever ask yourself, why such variety? It's simple. The more doors you knock on, the more secrets you find. And for Red Golf, secrets seem to be the real prize, not just cash. That's where cyber espionage enters our story. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Red Golf isn't working alone. They're closely connected with another infamous group, a PT-41. In the world of cyber threats, APT stands for Advanced Persistent Threat. Think of it like a professional spy team that doesn't just break in, but moves in and sets up camp. Back in 2020, the US Justice Department accused APT-41 of hacking over 100 companies worldwide. And that's not a typo, 100. Video game giants, social media platforms, and more. The scale is mind-boggling. Now you might be thinking, are Red Golf and APT-41 the same group, just with different names? Cybersecurity researchers often struggle with this. So it's like tracking a master of disguise, sometimes the same actor, sometimes a close collaborator. Researchers use two key techniques to figure this out: infrastructure analysis and TTPS, tactics, techniques, and procedures. It's like comparing an artist's brushstrokes to identify the painter behind the canvas. The evidence suggests Red Golf and APT-41 share not only tools, but also digital DNA. That spells trouble for defenders, because it means we're dealing with a network of seasoned professionals, not lone wolves. So let's pivot to the investigators, the Insect Group. No, not actual bugs, rather a cybersecurity research team that tracks these hackers. And imagine digital detectives with magnifying glasses, but instead of footprints, they follow IP addresses and malicious domains. Recently, Insect Group identified a cluster of domains. Think of them as secret digital meeting rooms, likely used by Red Golf. These aren't your everyday websites. They're carefully crafted to avoid detection, sometimes even mimicking legitimate sites. Curious about their methodology, they use digital forensics and threat intelligence, a bit like CSI, but for computers. By piecing together subtle clues, they reconstruct the hacker's playbook. Now, you might ask, did they find out who the victims were? Surprisingly, they didn't pinpoint specific companies, but they did catch Red Golf in the act of scanning for weak spots, like checking every door in a neighborhood for an unlocked latch. The takeaway, even without naming victims, tracking infrastructure and scanning attempts provides a crucial warning system for future targets. Why does Red Golf hack? Is it for money or something more strategic? Insect Group believes these attacks are about intelligence gathering, classic cyber espionage, rather than financial gain. Picture James Bond, but with a keyboard instead of a tuxedo. Unlike ransomware gangs who demand Bitcoin, espionage groups want data, trade secrets, government plans, or sensitive communications. This information can be more valuable than gold to the right buyer or government. Here's a technical term for you: exfiltration. That's the digital equivalent of sneaking stolen files out of a vault. Red Golf excels at it, slipping out with data, often undetected for months. Now, you might wonder, is there proof it's not about money? The answer lies in their tools and targets, focusing on high-value information, not bank accounts. Espionage-motivated hacking changes the stakes entirely. It means the victims might not even realize what's been taken until it's too late. And accusations fly, but what does the Chinese government say? Officially, they deny everything. According to their spokesperson, foreign security firms are spreading groundless accusations and lack professionalism. Strong words, right? This isn't the first time China's faced such claims. In fact, they often argue these are politically motivated stories designed to smear their reputation. But why would multiple independent groups point fingers at the same actors? You might be thinking, could it all be a misunderstanding? Possible, but unlikely, given the technical evidence like overlapping malware and identical infrastructure. It's like finding the same fingerprints at multiple crime scenes. Here's a term: Attribution. In cybersecurity, it means linking an attack to a specific group or country. Tricky, because hackers are experts at covering their tracks. The truth, attribution is rarely black and white, but the patterns keep pointing back to the same place. That's a puzzle policymakers and the public must weigh carefully. Let's zoom out. Red Gulf isn't targeting just one country or one industry. Aviation, automotive, education, government, IT, even religious groups, they've all been in the line of fire. How do hackers choose their targets? Often it's about access and value. For example, breaching an aviation company could reveal travel routes and defense plans, while hacking religious organizations could expose dissent or minority activity. Technical term, attack surface. Think of it as the sum of all possible entry points a hacker can exploit. And the bigger the surface, the more opportunities for Red Gulf to sneak in. Now you might ask, is anyone safe? So the reality is any organization with valuable data is a potential target. That's why cybersecurity isn't just IT's job anymore. It's everyone's concern. Let me share this. Even small non-profits and local governments have found themselves on Red Gulf's radar. The threat is broad, and so must be our defenses. So how does Red Gulf break in? Their weapon of choice, malware, specifically a nasty piece called Keyplug. Malware is like a Swiss Army knife for hackers, letting them slip past defenses, steal data, and even control infected computers remotely. Keyplug is a backdoor, a secret entrance that bypasses normal security. Imagine a hidden door in a bank vault, invisible to everyone except the thief who built it. But that's not all. Red Gulf also uses a suite of other malicious tools, many shared among Chinese state-sponsored groups. These tools are constantly evolving, each new version more sophisticated than the last. Here's another technical term. Payload. In cybersecurity, that's the part of malware that delivers the real damage, like a virus's instruction manual. The bottom line, as long as these custom tools keep getting updated, defenders have to keep learning fast or risk falling behind. Did you know that cyber groups are often named differently by different security firms? Red Gulf, APT41, Barium, they might all refer to the same set of actors. Confusing, right? Why so many names? Every company has its own classification system based on how they first encountered the threat. It's like detectives in different countries giving the same suspect different aliases. To untangle this web, analysts compare infrastructure, the servers, domains, and digital fingerprints left behind. They also look at TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures. Think of it as a hacker's signature dance moves. Yeah, you might be thinking, why not just agree on one name? Great question. The cybersecurity world is global, competitive, and sometimes secretive. But over time, patterns emerge and researchers start connecting the dots. In the end, understanding these naming conventions helps us see the full scope of the threat and coordinate defenses more effectively. And here's what really keeps defenders up at night. Red Gulf is fast. When a new software vulnerability is reported, they're among the first to weaponize it. Imagine a burglar who learns how to pick a new lock the minute it's invented. 0 day is a term you'll hear, a vulnerability that's unknown to the software maker and unpatched. For hackers, it's the holy grail. Red Gulf has a history of grabbing these 0 days and using them in real-world attacks within days, sometimes hours. Why does this matter? It shortens the window for defenders to react. If you're running outdated software, you're a sitting duck. Now, you might wonder, how do they learn so quickly? Many state-sponsored groups have access to top technical talent and even inside information. It's an arms race, pure and simple. The lesson: patch early, patch often. The faster you close the door, the safer your digital house becomes. Now let's talk solutions. What can organizations do to protect themselves from groups like Red Gulf? First, real-time threat intelligence is crucial. It's like having radar for cyber attacks. Second, blocking malware like Keyplug as soon as it's detected is vital. Think of Keyplug as a known burglar. If you spot him in your neighborhood, you don't wait to lock your doors. Another key concept, defense in depth. That means using multiple layers of security like security cameras, alarm systems, and guard dogs all working together. No single solution is enough. You might ask, isn't cybersecurity expensive? It can be, but the cost of a breach, lost trust, stolen secrets, regulatory fines can be catastrophic. My advice, invest in staff training, keep systems updated, and never underestimate the value of preparation. In this digital age, a little vigilance goes a long way. So where does this leave us? Red Gulf isn't going away. With continued use of custom malware and cutting-edge exploits, they'll remain a challenge for years. But here's some good news. As defenders get smarter, sharing threat intelligence, automating responses, and building resilient systems, the playing field is leveling out. Imagine a chess game where both sides keep learning new moves. So the advantage goes to the side that adapts fastest. That's why ongoing education and collaboration are so vital. You may be asking, will state-sponsored hacking ever stop? Realistically, probably not, but we can make it harder, riskier, and less rewarding for the attackers. Stay informed, stay alert, and remember, every individual, yes, you, plays a part in our collective digital defense. Thanks for listening, and if you want to hear how one man hacked North Korea by himself, stick around for the next episode.